Welcome back to the podcast. If this is your first time, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If it's your second time, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This one is special. They're all special, but this one is even more special. It's not the same person, by the way.
Oh,
it felt like it's the same person. They always say we look alike, bro. But
you and I, of course.
But on it, but
of course.
I got my guy here. We actually had your brother on here not too long ago. Had a huge podcast with him, but now we got the credit specialist himself.
Yes, sir.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself, brother.
Name is Weldon Accely, known as Ace1 Credit _ I could change your life. I'm a life changer, so this is what I do. This is what you do. This one's Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
we good? Okay, all right. You threw me off.
Now, Weldon, so you do credit, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain credit? What exactly is credit?
Well, credit is like a report card. Like if you was in high school, so it's like a report card. So basically, in a nutshell, just reflects how you are with your finances. Okay. So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
So how are people fucking up their report card?
Well, I could go back.
I had some bad report cards, bro.
Yeah, I could go back to when I was in high school. I was a screw up, freshman year, sophomore year, and I got it right come junior year. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. If you're not educated enough about credit, educated enough about school, how important school is, or so you're gonna not take it as important as you should. But yeah, that's what people do all the time. They're not educated enough in it. They don't understand it. They don't respect it. So that's why a lot of people fall to where they are at today, especially this day and age.
Especially this day and age. So we hear it all the time, especially on the news. What, America is like $1 trillion in debt when it comes to credit, like credit debt.
Credit debt.
Which makes people scared to actually use credit cards. They're not using it the right way. Like you said, a lot of people aren't educated on actually use. I know I wasn't.
Yes.
The biggest mistake I've ever had with my credit, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, was getting a Macy's card.
Okay.
I got my first Macy's card at 19 years old. It was like $150 limit. It was nothing.
Okay.
But that $20 a month, paying that $20 a month for that my bill, I was like, that's only $20. I'm not paying that.
Okay.
Following month, I ain't got to worry about it. Then over the years, I realized that was the worst thing I did to my credit. Yeah, that's a fact. What are you seeing? What people are their biggest issues when it comes to learning about credit and understanding the real purpose of credit?
Well, I always tell people all the time that although credit and debt are intertwined with each other, it's literally two separate conversations. Okay. I say this all the time. And to know me and understand how I think about credit, you got to be in my head. So if you don't rock with me like that, you probably think I'm going left field with it. But it works for me or so. But I say it all the time, credit and your debt, although they're intertwined, is literally two separate conversations. So the simplest way to simplify it is, it's like being in high school. You could be screwed up again for me, I screwed up my freshman year, my sophomore year. I got it right my junior year. I ultimately got high school diploma, went to college, didn't finish, but went to college or so to branch off to getting a job and to ultimately doing what I'm doing now. But when you look at my transcript, all it shows is I got a high school diploma. So it's the same thing when it comes to credit. So you can have a debt that's out there that you actually owe money to, but if you understand credit, how to play with credit, I don't want to say manipulate credit, but for lack of a better word, manipulate credit, you can actually have a debt that you owe money on, but credit-wise, it doesn't impact you if you understand how to deal with it properly on it, not hurting your credit.
Hurting your credit. So you basically saying it's good credit and good debt and bad debt, basically.
No, not necessarily that.
Okay.
It's all depending if we're speaking about, let's say, credit repairing. So we have individuals I deal with all the time that comes to me about having bad credit. They'll talk about they paid off their collections account, they paid off a charged off account, derogatory account or so. And then as they're explaining it to me, they say, but I don't understand it. I just paid this whole thing off. Why is my credit ruined? So in the conversation, I'll say to them, understand something. If you paid off your debt, negative debt, strictly off the fact of getting your credit better, and we're talking about on a credit level, you just wasted your money.
Oh, I need you to break that down for me though. So break that down. So you break that down if you could.
Because again, it goes back to, let's go back to being in high school again, being in college again. If you pull your transcript, right? Although you got your high school diploma, and you pull your transcript, what is your transcript going to speak about?
It's going to show you your grades.
It's going to show all your grades, the times that you failed, all that good stuff. So it's the same exact concept when it comes to your credit. So if you paid off a collections, a charged off account, anything that's derogatory. We're talking about derogatory things right now. If you paid off any of these, strictly, again, listen to what the words I'm saying, strictly off of the strength of getting your credit better, you wasted your money. Because although you paid off those negative accounts, that negative history still remains. Because it happened. It actually happened. So if you paid off this debt, again, off of the strength of, all right, I paid off the debt, I don't understand why it's still hurting my credit. Fine, you paid off the debt. All you did is just change the status of that negative account into now a paid off account. Okay. So for instance, let's say you had a charge off account. A charge off account or a collections account. You paid off the collections account. Let's go to collections. You paid off the collections account. If you paid off that collections account, it just goes from an unpaid collections to now paid collections. But that negative,
But it's still a negative.
It's going to still be there.
So what should someone do in that instance instead of paying it off? Because you said that's probably the worst thing that they could do. What should someone do in that situation? If you have something negative on your credit, you want to get it off. What are you doing?
Okay, so now your debt is your debt. It's irresponsible for someone like me to tell a person, don't pay your debt. Your debt is your debt. Yeah. But again, we're talking about a separate conversation, remember? Now, so if you're dealing with negativities on your report, the best course of action is to try to ultimately either get it updated to a positive account, like remove or update the late payments to a positive payment history. The same thing with the account being a charged off account to a positive charged off account where it doesn't show either no negativity or limited negativity or just paid off or so. Okay. Or best case scenario, if you could work it out in that manner, where it's removed, deleted from your file so it doesn't show and reflect on your credit report negatively any longer because it's not there. You still owe the debt, but if you're reading between the line, people, if the debt is not there, credit-wise, it's not impacting you. Okay? Again, remember I said to you, you got to be in my head to understand it. So it works for me. So I go left with it. It works for me. It's been working very well for me all these years. So I'm trying to get in your head. Pause. I'm trying to get in your head, right? So I'm saying to myself, all right, I got this credit card, all right? Got you.
It's $2,000 limit. I went crazy. I was in Montauk. I went bananas.
Got you.
It was some baddies out there. I went crazy, bro.
Got you.
This was before I got married. The
Got
baddies
you.
crazy.
Got you.
So now I'm like, shit, I got to pay this credit card off, but I don't got the money to pay it off. So now I'm delinquent. First month, second month. You're telling me not to pay it off in general, or you're telling me how am I paying this off to get it off my credit? These delinquent charges.
Okay, if it's accurate information, they're not going to remove it off your credit.
Okay.
If it's accurate. Okay, but that's where you come into challenging the report. Okay, so, but if it's, now we're going simply off the fact that if it's an accurate account, it's your Macy's account like you speak of, it's your Macy's account or whatnot, you're not going to get it off or cleared up off your report because it actually happened. But that's where it comes into play where you start challenging the credit bureaus into, that's me.
No, you good.
You good? Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. But that's where you go into it where you're challenging the credit bureau of the accuracy of these information that's being reported on your report. So if you can challenge it, okay, when it comes to credit and credit repairing, the majority of the time when people get things cleared up negatively removed off a person's file, predominantly majority of the time it's off of a technicality. Okay, so if they're getting things off of a person or cleared up off of a person's report, it's merely off of a technicality. So if they could get it to work in their favor off the technicality, then here we go. Here comes these things getting cleared off the report.
All right. So, all right. So I went crazy. In Montauk. So if I'm going crazy in Montauk, I'm just calling you anyway because fuck it. I got this stuff cleared off my credit.
Gotcha.
We were at an event in Brooklyn. It was a dope event. The fire.
Yes.
I can't think of the name of it.
Campfire.
There you go. Campfire Real Estate.
Yes.
And you said something really dope on stage. You were talking about. You said cash is king, credit is queen.
Yes.
That was a dope analogy that
people are gonna start stealing my.
Oh, they definitely taking it.
Stealing my, whatever you want to call it, and they're gonna make it theirs. Watch out. You heard it here first. Yeah. People are gonna take my wordings as always.
Oh, they definitely take it. I can already see that because on the chessboard, the queen is the biggest piece on the chessboard anyway.
It was funny. My twin and I, at my best 197, the dopest real estate dude out here. Check him out.
He's out here. He's crazy.
He and I actually had a conversation literally this morning about this.
Oh yeah.
And about the whole chessboard and king and queens, whatever, whatnot stuff. And then I asked him, I said, Welby, what's the most powerful piece on the chessboard? He said, the king. I said, no.
No, the queen is, yeah.
It's the queen. He's like, why? And then I went through the whole lingo to why the queen is more powerful or whatever. But that was just our personal, several conversations we have through the course of the day or so. But yeah.
But what does that mean? So you were breaking it down at the event. What does that actually mean?
Because you got to have cash. Cash is dope. You got to have cash. You have to be liquid without question or so. But you're limited to what you have as far as access to. Liquid cash, whatever it is, whether it's from your bank account, 401k, whatever it may be, you're limited to that. So if you only have what said amount may be, that's where you're stuck at. Mm-hmm. Now, when you have personal, strong credit, it's really no limit to it. So that's where it's called leveraging your credit or so. So I didn't understand that up until about 9-10 years ago. Because when my brother and I, we used to do properties together, so we were big on paying for everything cash.
And cash, yeah.
Paying everything
That's
cash.
the old school way. You
Yeah.
know the old timers.
Oh, get the home for whatever, $200,000. All right, I'm just gonna buy it outright or so. Now realizing with that same $200,000 in cash that you're willing to spend in cash, and you having it all absorbed in one situation, you can have that same $200,000 in cash with strong credit and leverage it and get into 10 situations to multiply your money or so. But that's where how credit is the queen of cash, and you're more powerful. So you can have 100 grand, you can have 100 grand in cash, and you're more powerful having 100,000 in credit, even though you have 100 grand.
Even though you have 100 grand in cash, I'd rather keep the liquid anyway. To be honest with you.
I mean, you better have liquid. You better be liquid.
Save that liquid for a rainy day.
Yeah, you better be liquid all day, every day. You better be liquid. But again, when you have, the world is your oyster. Like pretty much through the years, even though things is different now, especially in real estate, you're in real estate now, I bought homes, no money out of pocket, just signed on a dotted line.
Because you had great credit.
I had thankfully still, knock on wood, whatever. But yeah, I bought homes back in those eras in 2009, 2008 with the 80-20 loans or so, if you remember that time. Literally signed in the dotted line, no money out of pocket. I've bought all my vehicles that I have now. I don't put nothing out of my pocket. Everything signed and drive. Sign and drive.
Yo, the best thing I ever did in my life was fix my credit. My credit was horrible at one point. I went and got a secure card. Okay. Somebody put me onto that a while ago. Get a secure card, start paying the card off, get your gas, blah, 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 whatever you do with your daily expenses. And I fixed my credit. Yo, the best feeling in the world is going into an institution, wherever it is, and they run that, your credit is strong and you don't have to, like you said, put any cash down.
Because the dope thing is, like, if I go into, again, I'm a car guy. I like cars, so I have a couple of vehicles or so. The dopest thing is if I go into a dealership, if I decide I want to purchase a vehicle, I always would tell them all the time, the least of your worries is me being approved. Yeah. Put me in the best deal possible. I'm guaranteed to be approved. Just put me in the best deal possible. So you put me in that position, that's best deal possible. The car, if I'm enjoying it, I like it, it's mine. Yeah. That's the least of my worries.
Dude, I just go straight to the bank and tell them to cut me a check.
Or that, whichever.
Cut me a check. I ain't even going to the deal.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah.
Give me the bill. Let's let me go.
Yeah, whichever route. But as long as the confidence is there,
That's a fact.
They don't look at your income. They don't look at any of it. They just go based off of what they see on that report.
What got you into credit? What made you start going heavy into it?
Well, how I got into it, like, I've been in credit repairing for about 13 years.
Have you been doing it that long?
Years. Yeah, about 13, 14 years. Because I was always an entrepreneur type of person. My twin and I always into different things to try to, just secure my life, secure the bag, lack of a better word. And, 1 second. Sorry about that. So I was always into that. So back in around 2006, 7 or so, I was in a tow truck company that I was about, scrap metal company that I was involved in. Got involved, used my credit, because at the time I've always had great credit.
So you never went through one of those phases in life when your credit was bad? When you have a bad
I'll
credit?
break it down to you when I did.
All right.
So at that same time of doing that, I got involved into real estate. Again, at the same time my brother went down south, Atlanta, buying properties or so to get into the real estate. But then right around that time is when the bubble burst with the real estate. We all know what went on with that. The business with the scrap metal. And I always tell people all the time, people's gonna tell you what you wanna hear until they get what they need from you. And the moment they get what they need from you, it's happened to me many times where everyone is making money. And this is where I tell people all the time, you gotta watch these fake gurus out here.
We just want to get to the gurus. We just want to get to the gurus.
Yeah, everyone is making money. Everyone is getting busy. Everyone is driving the flyest car. You know, they'll show you every and anything to show what they're doing. But until you get into business with them, a week later, here comes all the problems. So that's why I'm very cautious on how I deal with anybody when it comes to business or anything like that. I could care less about contracts. I could care less about your word of mouth. I could care less about your street cred. I don't care about any of that. So my mentality is completely different from that. But when the bubble burst, this situation happened or whatnot, I lost between cash and credit about $700,000 of everything, my whole life that I lost. Okay. And I was, I'm older now, but I was in my mid-30s or so, and I thought my life was over. Though it was a done deal, my life is over. What am I gonna do? Okay, so the same time I'm going through this, my twin and I is going through the exact same thing at the exact same time, or so. So so he and I always knew we have to get our credit back in order. We have to get our credits back in order. So we went through several companies, several gurus, before social media got the way it is now. Several gurus, several people saying they could get things done for us or whatnot stuff. So my brother was piggybacking off of me, finding people. I'm piggybacking off of him. And if a person gave us a price point, it didn't matter. If you told me 1,000, I'm paying 1,000. You told me 10,000, I'm paying 10,000. You told me 20,000, I didn't pay. We spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to get our credit in order. And each time, it never worked out. Bunch of promises, bunch of, you name it, or so. And finally, one day I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna learn this myself. Because when I was in college, I went to school for accounting. So I was always good with numbers,
it
good
makes
with
a lot
those
of
type
sense.
of things. So
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so I kind of was always into it. So I just started picking up books about credit, ordered books about credit, YouTubing it, researching it or so, and then I guinea pigged myself. You know what I'm saying? I guinea pigged myself and I guinea pigged my twin. Okay. And then so when this happened, I tell anyone, Google my name. If you Google my name, you're gonna see in Atlanta, it's gonna be April 6, 2010 is when my house went into foreclosure. All right, my home was worth about, I think, 200 grand at the time, and went into foreclosure for 60,000. Wow. Okay, but that was done on purpose with the banks. You already know how that go. You would think with the short sales, whatever, but that's a whole other different conversation. But ultimately what ended up happening was, it happened April 6, 2010, the day before my birthday. That was the biggest gift that I ever received in my life, was getting that foreclosure without me realizing it. Yeah. Okay, and then, that happened, I think the following month in May, I had the tow trucks. The tow trucks got repossessed. I had lines of credit, about maybe $200,000-300,000 in lines of credit or so. All those went into charge off. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, ultimately. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I'll never say the name of the banks because I don't want them knowing my moves or so. But robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then one day I just got up and said, I have to. And this is where I was saying in the earlier part of the conversation, you have to be in my head to understand how I think now. I have to go left with it because they don't teach us these things at all. They think that you have to basically go through what you're going through, succumb to it, file bankruptcy, which 9 times out of 10 I tell people don't do it.
That's usually the first thing people are telling people to do.
Yeah, and then you'll have those dickhead lawyers that don't know any better.
Yeah, that's usually the first thing they go with.
Yes, because they're lawyers, you assume that they know better, but the lawyers don't know nothing about credit. Let's put that out there, okay? I'll run circles around these lawyers. They don't know nothing about credit at all whatsoever, but they're gonna educate you to tell you to do X, Y, Z, file bankruptcy. Oh, but understand, you don't have to pay these bills, you don't have to pay these no more. But then you just open up a whole new problem that you didn't have to encounter, which thankfully I didn't do the bankruptcy route or whatever. But then ultimately, as I said again, when I guinea pigged myself, so what happened to me in April, May, my credit tanked. I was in the 700s plus, whatever, to do the things I was able to do. My credit tanked into the 500s. My twin brother tanked into the 500s or so. I guinea pigged myself. August of that same year, it was as if it didn't ever happen.
August of that same year?
Same year.
So this happened in May, you said?
It happened in May.
In less than, what, 4 months? 4 or 5 months?
4 or 5 months, it was as if it didn't ever happen. Foreclosure off my credit report, repo off my credit report, monies that I owe these banks off of my credit report. And I'm like, wait a minute, I got something here. But I still did not know credit. I still did not know credit. Did I get lucky with what I did? Yeah, I did. And I was like, damn, I got something here. Let me learn more. So I started, again, researching, learning more, going to people, hey, yo, bro, I know how to fix credit. Yeah, you do? Yeah, well, we would help sending people our way, my way, and whatnot stuff, when I'm not knowing what I was doing. I mean, I had an idea. So then ultimately what ended up happening, the more and more I started doing it, I started picking up game from certain individuals that I would watch on YouTube or so, and I started making it my own and started realizing what works more for me or so. And then that's when I started putting it together. So I have a program I call my 12 Credit Commandments.
I've seen that. I've seen you talk about that online.
Yeah, so my 12 Credit Commandments are the exact steps that I take in repairing one's report. So these are the steps that I learned through the years that ultimately, that I figured that works the most. So now, the thing is that I always tell people all the time, there's no foolproof way. So you go online, you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, you're gonna see people say, I have this play, you do this play, guaranteed you're gonna get this off your report. Guaranteed you're gonna get this done. It's a bunch of bullshit. There's no foolproof way.
There's no one.
So with me, I have an archive of methods. Archives. Things that I don't even remember. I have to go back and, research or whatever, but I have an archive for different methods of different situations. So bankruptcy, foreclosure, child support, charge-off, collections, foreclosures, different methods that I have. So if one doesn't work, I have another method. Second one doesn't work, but I have methods that I use that the likelihood, if I do it, it's going to work out in my favor.
You know, a lot of people will be hitting you up now. They'll be like, shit, he did all that in 4 months. I'm about to say
Yeah, but now I do, it's being done quicker now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm curious about the foreclosure because I thought they said foreclosure usually take like 7 years to come off your credit.
Again, remember what we talked about high school or so? Yes, it happened, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to show. Okay? So now again, I'm a big advocate on it. I'm not telling anyone do not pay your debt.
A lot of them tell you not to pay your debt. You watch the gurus.
Yeah, because they tell you these things because they want to tell people what they want to hear.
Yeah, I've seen some. I'm like, damn. Because
I have people come to me all the time to call me up, text me, whatever, hit me up, set up an appointment, and say, and I give them a price point of whatever I'm charging, and they'll tell me what's the guarantee. I'm like, I don't guarantee. Oh, but this one is or that one is saying that they guarantee this, they guarantee that. Okay, then go to them. I'm not guaranteeing anything at all whatsoever, because if I make those guarantees, you're gonna hold me to it. The one thing I could do is just do the best that I can, because as I said again, I work on a husband and a wife. So you can have a husband and a wife, and sometimes husbands and wives mirrors each other's credit reports. Sometimes, not all the time, but some of the times. And so the husband will be cautious, but then the wife will be gun-ho and say, okay, I'm gonna go try it. They'll come to me and I get busy on the wife's report. Okay, I want you to try my husband. I do the husband more or less the same exact file, and I have a level of struggle. So again, there's no one foolproof way. Not every time you go up the bat. So I call myself the Floyd Mayweather, the Michael Jordan of credit repair.
All right.
Okay? So how I look at it, yes, Michael Jordan didn't hit every shot. You know what I'm saying? But he was still the best in the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's how with me, I don't hit every shot, I don't hit home runs every time I go up the bat. But I'm beyond confident in what I do. And nobody fucking with me, bro. I'm sorry. There's no other way to go about saying it. And I say it with confidence.
Not you. I just heard Floyd Mayweather. Floyd's 50-0, bro.
There you go. Because I lose count of individuals. And again, I'll never pull nobody's names or so out there of individuals that are gurus, significantly bigger than me. They run with a bigger crowd than me or so. And I've lost count of how many of their clients has came to me or so, because they weren't able to come through with what they made promise. But remember, the day and age that we in now, people go with the crowd.
They go with the crowd, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they always follow the crowd first.
I respect it. It is what it is or so. And they're getting duped, or they're going with the price point because this person charges a month of $100 a month. Like with me, I'm expensive, to be honest. So they'll look at, okay, pay this person $100 a month. Okay, cool, pay them $100 a month, fine. Compared to me, I might probably tell them, okay, $2,000, $2,500, or depending on their scenario. So, but they'll go with the price point. I get it, because not necessarily everybody may be liquid enough to make those type of payments. I get that, but you could be into this a year and a half. How much money you spent out, and then potentially wasted your time or so. And then now when you come in to someone like me, I'm actually charging you more money because I have to clean up what the previous person did prior to ultimately have the credit bureaus accept what I'm doing and no matter the way I go about doing it.
So what are most, because like I told you, the first thing I did was the secure card.
Okay.
Someone told me to get the secure card, start, doing whatever I had to do with that. Is that still usually like one of the best options?
Yeah, of course. Because you got secure cards, you're going to hear about authorized user accounts. Authorized user accounts are people's, or not authorized user, you're going to hear trade line.
Trade line, yeah.
Yeah, so anytime you hear trade line, it's simple, nothing more than an authorized user account. You can go to one of your friends, your cousins, add you on or so. So of course the secure card are one of the ones you could do. You could do the authorized user, but don't have your credit authorized user heavy. No. You know what I'm saying? You see individuals that'll have 6 or 7 authorized user account and have one account that they're ultimately responsible for. So I don't give a crap if your credit is an 800 credit score. You're gonna struggle getting approvals. Okay, so you wanna have a level of mixture. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's on one of my cards. She has like a 700 plus credit score.
I was gonna ask you about that too.
Yeah.
Because you see that a lot now too. People are saying that they're putting their kids as authorized users. What age would you say would be the best age to start that?
It don't matter, because
No?
the impact that it's gonna give you is gonna give it to you instantly. So it's a lot of the people that get, now you're about to let me get in, right? So
Yeah,
now,
go ahead, go
a lot
ahead.
of individuals, they just put a whole lot of fluff in their content to make it seem as if they're giving you game when they're just throwing you fluff, okay? So if I have one of my cards that's probably like, now I'm starting to show my age, but whatever. That's probably over 20 years, 21, 22 years old.
That same card? You've been using the same card for over 20-some years?
No, I have several cards, but
Okay.
that's my oldest, 1996.
Damn.
That's the year you were born? Screw you. Screw you. And I hope we talk about this. Screw you. Whatever.
He's making me feel, I started high school in 96.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 95.
Damn.
Hey, but listen, I still got my boyish good looks, whatever. But anyway, but anyhow, that's a 1996. So with you, let's say you wanted to, I wanted to add you onto that card. If I add you onto that card, whatever the impact that card is gonna give you is gonna give it to you instantly. So you're gonna hear crap that is, add your child onto your credit card. So at the age of 13, some credit cards can have the age start you at the age of 13, but the average credit card is gonna be around 16.
Okay,
16
I thought I heard 16. Yeah, I thought I heard.
There's some cards they'll do 13 could be the youngest, but the average is about 16. So let's go with 16. So now if you add on your card to this person's card credit file at the age of 16, or by the time they're 21 years old, they're gonna have impeccable credit. No, they're gonna have impeccable credit instantly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because what you're getting is the age. Okay, what you're getting is the age. So that 20-year age is gonna impact on this person's file. So it's instantly. So whether you do it now, whether you do it 10 years from now, whatever the impact is gonna give it, it's gonna give it.
Would taking them off of your card as an authorized user hurt their credit?
It's gonna kill them.
It kills it instantly.
Destroys it, because now they're gonna lose that age. So now one of the best ways to look at it. So let's say with my daughter, right? She's 25 now. So let's say she was on my cards. She started trying to build her credit at 20 years old. Just throw that number out, 20 years old. So now she's 25. So let's say she had a secure credit card, as you spoke of, and maybe a bullshit Macy's card. So for 5 years, she has credit, right? But in between that 5 years, I had added her onto one of my cards, the 24-year-old card. So now her average age will be her age. She's 25. So her average age will be her age. So now instantaneously she's gonna get that boost. or so. So when you do the average on her credit report, her average overall age on her credit report is going to be, when you do the average age of all the other accounts or so, will probably be about 17 years old. I'm just throwing a number. If you do the average, like as if it was in math class. So let's say 17 years old. So if hypothetically I got upset at her for whatever the reason may be, and I removed her off that card, instantaneously she loses all that age. Wow. So instantaneously it tanks her credit score. So this is one of the reasons why you would hear where they'll tell you if you have a credit card, you had a credit card for said amount of time, never, ever, ever close out those accounts, because when you do that, you're losing age. You're thinning out your file. You're losing age. You're losing the credit limits or so. So that's why, one of the reasons why you have to be strategic on the cards that you get.
I was about to go into that too.
Yeah, you don't want to get certain cards that's going to have, because you're limited with credit where you're going to be paying annual fees. So all the cards I have, matter of fact, I was about to say, other than my Amexes, I have no annual fees.
Other than your Amex?
Other than my Amexes, okay? I don't have annual fees. So a person that's not credit savvy or financially savvy may get annoyed of every year of having to pay annual fees on their cards. And then one day they may just say, screw it, I'm just gonna get rid of this damn card because I don't wanna pay the annual fee. Or they don't remember to pay the annual fee or so, and close out their card. They'll close out that card that may have had a couple years of age on it plus the limit. You just killed your credit doing so. So that's why you have to be strategic on getting cards on what you get. So these will be cards that you will probably want to keep for the rest of your life. Like all my cards that I have, I'm having till the good Lord calls me home. I'm not closing out none of them. Or so.
Yeah, I did
For
that
that
with one
exact
of my,
reason.
I did that with one of my cards, my Capital One card, and I was like, fuck, I should have never done
Yeah, but I mean, if you had the card, it was like a year old, 2 years old, there's not much age behind it, then it's not going to impact.
No, I had that one for a while.
Yeah, if you had that one for a while.
I kept getting into it with Capital One. I was like, cut the damn card off. I never used it. I was like, fucking cut the
Yeah,
card
and,
off.
then you let your pride get in your way
Yeah.
because of that, and thinking, well, I'm just going to close it out.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll just hit a button that says close, it's over. It is what it is. They got millions of other people behind you that's going to take that limit that you're not utilizing on one. So, but if you in that situation, I'll tell anybody, remember, we're in 2023. Put everything on automatic payment. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you have a card that has annual fees and you don't remember it, and your account gets, or the card gets an annual fee hit on it, at least you're not being delinquent or not paying that annual fee or so. So it's automatically being paid, even though you're not using that card.
What are some of the best cards to get? I'm gonna tell you, when I got bullied into getting my first Amex. Okay. I used to go out with my boys, used to go out, split the bill. I used to throw out my debit card. They was like, bro, don't throw that fucking debit card.
Got you.
He's like, you gotta, and everybody else throwing the Amex. I'm like, y'all got good credit. What the hell am I not, get my Amex? So I'm on 3 Amexes now. And I'm like, you can't tell me nothing.
I mean, Amex is like the Louis Vuitton of credit cards.
Yeah.
Everybody want an Amex. Yeah. But the thing is, Amex is a dope. But I'm not gonna say necessarily it's the dopest card, because like I have a person that'll say to me, I have to have an Amex. I have to have an Amex.
It's a status symbol.
It's a status symbol. But I'll say credit-wise, if you have a $20,000 Amex and a $20,000 Visa card, you still got a $20,000 card. Mm-hmm. But it's the status of it. That's why they want those Amexes or whatever or whatnot stuff. But if we're going just strictly off of credit is credit. Mm-hmm. But now if you're going off of perks, then okay, cool. You want to go with the Amex Gold. You want to go with the Amex Platinum. Like, I don't travel as much as I should. Mm-hmm. And my friend over here was yelling and cursing me about that. so I don't.
I mean, if you want to switch it, you can transfer your points over.
Yeah,
if you want to.
But I don't have the Platinum card, because, okay, if you are approved for the Gold, mm-hmm. you're approved for the Platinum. Yeah. Okay, so when they're showing off, I got the Platinum. I don't give a crap. I got the Gold. I can upgrade to the Platinum if I want or so. But I myself don't use the perks of having a Platinum because I don't travel as much as I should. Yeah. So I don't reap the benefits of it. So I have my Gold. But then I have my other Amexes, my Plum card, and I got my Everyday Blue card or whatnot. I may have them for. But to say what are the better cards, I'm gonna say it's irresponsible for me to say what's the better card. It's all a matter of preference. That's like saying what's better, a Mercedes or BMW. You may say BMW, or I may say Mercedes, but it's a preference. In my opinion, they're all the same shit.
But you shouldn't use your debit card,
I never use my debit card, ever.
You never use the debit card. So why shouldn't someone use? Because a lot of people just get nervous of using credit. I know older people that do not want to use credit at all. Like they're like, I'm not going near it. They have the cash. I'm using the cash.
Because you don't understand it. That's the reason why. So like, I speak for me, and I put posts on my Instagram about how I use my credit card or cards, depending, I'm using as my debit. So what I do, the only time I'm using my debit if I'm getting out cash. But outside of that, I use my credit cards for everything. So with me, how I do it, as soon as I make any sort of charge on my account, instantaneously I make the payment. And the very next day it comes out of my account. Okay. So it's a debit card. Yeah. So technically it's a debit card. So you have to be disciplined with it. If you're not disciplined in doing, so like I've had individuals tell me, teach them on what I do. So I said, if you're not going to be disciplined on how I am, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not going to be the same thing.
So I don't care if it's a $10 charge. I don't care if it's a $15. I don't care if it's a $1,000 charge. If I charge my card, if I was using my debit, the money's coming out of my account anyway, right? If I charge my card, instantaneously as I'm walking out the store. People, we're in 2023. There's no reason to be waiting at the end of the month to pay your bills. It's stupid. It's dumb. We're in 2023. So I go right into my phone, go right into my Amex or my Discover or my Visa or my Barclay, whichever card that I use. As soon as the charge is made, instantaneously I hit pay. And when I wake up in the morning and I go into one of my accounts, whatever the account that I'm using to pull out that I made the payment to, I'll see at 8 o'clock in the morning, the money's out of my account. Or so now I'm every month the payments is made in time. But, if I did carry a balance, which normally I typically don't, the minimum payment was already paid already. So now you don't have that pressure on you of worrying about making that minimum payment. Yeah. My points are through the effing roof.
I told you could transfer them if you ever want to.
Through the roof. Because if you add up what you pay, if you think about what you pay monthly between your rent, your car payments, your groceries or so, we could, depending on your livelihood or so, I average probably about 9-10 grand, easy, a month. Yeah, but this is things that I'm paying for my everyday life, or so. So you add that up times the points. What am I working with? Yeah. But I don't care about points. Other people, they got the points play and stuff like that or whatever. I don't necessarily care about that and stuff.
Yeah, you gave a lot of game, bro. You gave a lot of game. I want to wrap it up because I know we've been talking for a minute. So we can go for like hours.
I can say we scratched the surface. There's a lot.
Yeah, I know. We might have to have like a part 2 of this because I want to get into business credit and all that stuff. We could go for like 2 hours, bro. Yep. Quick steps you would give someone that has bad credit right now. They're trying to fix their credit before they even hit you up, right? Give me 3 tips that you would give them before,
First, you need to know what you're working with. You need to know what you're working with, so you got to pull your credit, of course. Look at all 3 bureaus. There's really more than 3 bureaus, but the main bureaus, look at all 3 bureaus, see exactly where you stand to know what you're dealing with. Secondly, why did you get yourself in that position? All right, there's obvious reasons to why you probably overextended yourself, you weren't being mindful, just reckless, whatever the reason may be, why you got to that point. And what's the question again? So I could answer properly?
How would someone fix their credit if they have bad credit? What would they do? Like, how would they, before they reach out to you, what steps would you give them?
And the third would be, if you're coming to me or someone like me, educate yourself. Because people like me, but not me, will tell you a whole lot of fluff, a whole lot of nonsense, tell you what you want to hear to get you into your pockets. Once they get into your pockets, now it becomes catch me if you can. Here comes all these excuses. So once you could have a level of education and understanding, you can have more or less an idea if someone is just trying to pull the wool over your eye just to tell you what you want to hear, just to get your business or so you can have a level of confidence in what you're dealing with.
There you go. It's dope, bro. It's dope.
Yeah.
One last one for you, because I actually asked Welby this when he was on the podcast. I don't know if you remember this. I always say I'm an 80s baby hip hop raised, right? I always say hip hop has like a soundtrack for everyone. Not even hip hop, music in general. I always say I can listen to a record and take me back to like where I was at that moment, and it kind of like shaped where I am as a person. Yeah, he was telling me. If you could go back, what record, what artist was it that was like, you know what, this is the soundtrack for me. Like this is who.
Artist, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. But my favorite rap group of all time, had all the albums, know all the songs word for word, is Das Effects.
Oh, Das Effects.
You go
was
back
dope.
to Das Effects,
Yeah.
all day, every day, Das Effects, all day. Das Effects, MOP. Any
Your
one
brother
of those,
said
any
MOP.
one of those two.
Yeah.
That's
Das
me.
Effects was dope. I would laugh at that.
Yo, I mean, these era of people. You ever heard of Das Effects? All right.
He was born in '96.
Born in '96. Yeah, but yeah,
Das Effects is dope.
That's my era, man. That's
Das Effects is early '90s.
early '90s. I could listen to
yeah.
them all day, every day, all day, every day. Still remember the words, word for word.
I could never really keep up with the words with Das Effects though, because the way they rap.
Yeah,
I could
all
never-
day, every day, all day, every day.
Yeah, you like Das Effects. You like Das Effects. That's
all
dope.
day, every day. Them and MOP, that's
Yeah, MOP
That's
was.
it.
That's your brother said that was his soundtrack. MOP was his soundtrack.
Yeah,
MOP was you had to be
that's it.
outside for MOP.
yeah. but the soundtrack would be Belly when they walked in.
Oh, yeah.
That's me. That's me and my twin when we walk in anywhere. All eyes on us, all day, every day.
That's
and
the
stuff.
stuff.
You know
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
stuff.
But check me out, Ace1 Credit
I got
_ I can change your life. That's me on Instagram. I'm dope. I'm a life changer. I don't tell you what you want to hear to get into your pockets. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. I'm very transparent, and I'm the dopest. I'm the best in this industry. Not game, because it's not a game. In this industry, nobody messing with me.